New U.S. Visa Rules 2025, the shocking change no one expected. Getting a U.S. visa just got a whole lot harder, and millions of immigrants could be impacted. A new rule introduced by the Trump administration and backed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio has completely changed the way immigrant visas are processed. What does this mean for you, your family, and your future in the United States? Stay with us until the end of this video, because we're breaking it all down. Understanding the visa process before the change. To see why this new rule is such a big deal, let's first understand how the system worked before. Imagine a U.S. citizen filing an I-130 petition to bring their spouse from overseas. That petition would take anywhere from 12 to 16 months at USCIS. Once approved, the case moved to the National Visa Center, part of the State Department, where documents and financial information were reviewed. If everything was correct, the case became documentarily qualified and was then scheduled for an interview at a U.S. embassy abroad. How it used to work: flexibility in interviews. Previously, applicants had some flexibility. If someone was living outside their home country, they could request to attend their interview at a different U.S. embassy. For example, an Iraqi doctor studying and working in London could ask the London embassy to handle their case rather than traveling back to Baghdad or Amman. This provided safer, faster, and more practical options for thousands of applicants. The new rule change explained. As of August 28, 2025, that flexibility is gone. The Trump administration's new rule requires most applicants to complete their consular interviews in their home country, with very few exceptions. Unless there are extreme humanitarian concerns or a consulate is closed due to safety, applicants can no longer request interviews in third countries. This move eliminates what is known as third country processing. Real-life consequences for immigrant families. This change will create serious hardships. Backlogs are already severe in many parts of Africa, the Middle East, and South America. Families from Kenya, Nigeria, or Iraq, for example, may now wait 3 to 4 years or longer for an interview, while applicants in Europe may still move quickly through the process. For many, this means years of separation, uncertainty, and higher risks if they must return to unstable or unsafe home countries. What the State Department claims. The State Department insists this change is about fairness and security. Officials say they want to prevent applicants and lawyers from forum shopping for faster or more lenient embassies. They argue that processing people in their home country allows for stronger vetting and national security. But there is little evidence that this rule will actually improve security. Instead, it appears designed to centralize power and slow down the visa process for applicants from countries the administration considers less desirable. The real motives behind the rule. Critics argue the real goal is not security, it's to discourage immigration from certain regions. By forcing people into slower consulates, the administration ensures longer wait times, more denials, and more families giving up altogether. This fits into a larger strategy to reduce legal immigration under the banner of being tough on immigration. It's also part of a bigger pattern we've seen: restrictions on student visas, higher scrutiny on work visas, and expanded deportation authority. Why backlogs will get even worse. Embassies in Africa, the Middle East, and South America already face years-long delays. By forcing all applicants back to their home country's embassy, these delays will skyrocket. A spouse visa that once took 2 years could soon take 5. Applicants who previously found relief by transferring to faster embassies like London, Paris, or Frankfurt no longer have that option. This will disproportionately impact immigrants from countries with high backlogs, while applicants from Europe continue to move forward with far fewer obstacles. What many don't realize is that this change doesn't just affect individual families, it also affects the U.S. economy. When skilled workers, doctors, and professionals face years of delays, the United States loses out on critical talent. Employers who sponsor workers through immigrant visas will now wait years longer, leaving jobs unfilled and industries understaffed. This hidden cost to the U.S. economy may not be immediately visible, but over time it will hurt innovation, healthcare, and competitiveness. Exceptions to the rule: narrow and rare. There are exceptions, but they're extremely limited. If your home country's embassy is closed, you may qualify. If you can demonstrate significant humanitarian concerns, such as personal safety, you may be allowed to transfer. But nearly all exceptions will require supervisor approval, and the way the rule is written, exceptions are not meant to be granted easily. In reality, very few applicants will qualify. Long-term impact on immigration policy. Beyond the immediate delays and hardships, this rule sets a precedent for future immigration policies. By normalizing restrictive measures like mandatory home country interviews, the government is creating a framework where flexibility and discretion are eliminated. This means future administrations may continue to build on this foundation, adding even more barriers for immigrants. The shift represents not just a temporary slowdown, but a fundamental change in how the U.S. approaches immigration, potentially reshaping who is able to come and build a life in America for decades to come. Another key issue hidden in this policy shift is the mental and financial toll on families. For many, the immigration process is already draining: years of waiting, thousands of dollars in fees, endless paperwork, and uncertainty. Now, with this new rule, families are not only stuck in backlogs, but also forced into riskier, more expensive travel situations just to attend their interviews. This creates a system where wealthier applicants might manage to push through, while middle-class and struggling families are left behind. It's a quiet way of reshaping who gets to enter America, and it's a side effect that deserves just as much attention as the politics behind it. What immigrants can do now. So, what should applicants do? First, plan for longer timelines. If you are considering filing an immigrant visa petition, start as early as possible. Second, make sure your documents are complete and accurate. With delays already stretching into years, the last thing you want is for a small mistake to send your case back to the beginning. Third, consult with an experienced immigration attorney if you believe you have a strong case for an exception. While difficult, it's not impossible, and careful documentation could make a difference. Why this matters to everyone. This isn't just about immigrants. When families are separated for years, when professionals can't contribute to the workforce, and when people are forced into dangerous situations just to complete visa processing, everyone loses. Immigration has always been part of America's strength. Policies that make it harder for good, qualified people to come here don't just hurt those individuals, they hurt the nation as a whole. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, this rule change is about control. It's about slowing immigration, discouraging applicants, and reshaping who gets to come to the United States. For families hoping to reunite, for skilled professionals hoping to contribute, and for immigrants seeking safety, the path has become much harder. The only way forward is with preparation, persistence, and awareness of these new realities.